Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Empowerment and Illness. Let's continue with part 2 of Thriving with Diabetes and Hypertension, DJ's Journey. Since I've known you, you've been positive, right? I mean, you've always stayed positive. How do you stay motivated? And even though you go through stuff and you got all these issues, what makes you keep going? What's your why?
My faith, I know that God put me here for a purpose. My life has purpose, right? So what happens is even when I have a low moment, with these chronic illnesses, I am determined, come hell or high water, that I'm going to push through, I'm going to fight through, and I've had some very scary moments even here recently where things just get out of control, and it's not because of any neglect on your end. It's just the combination of stressful jobs, stressful situations, things just happen, that you don't even realize affect you having that diagnosis until it happens. But I have to pull from my faith. I try to keep myself as active as possible in my local ministry, be as involved as I can, but also give myself some time to let myself off the hook. That's been one of the biggest lessons for me here lately. I pull back, as often as I'd like to say yes to helping people or doing things, I have to check in with myself first to just see where I am and how I'm feeling. And, sometimes it's going to be yes, and sometimes it will be no, because I've got to give myself enough time to rest and reset and just kind of recalibrate. And so that's what I kind of pull from, and it has worked for me. And managing your stress is huge.
I'm working on that one.
Yeah, and it was something you said in one of your previous podcasts that made me kind of connect the dots of just how stress manifests in your body when you are someone with illness, suffering from an illness. And it can be detrimental. It can even be, deadly in some instances if you don't manage it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But then when you're suffering, most people get really depressed because they hurt, right? They're in a lot of pain. Or you just got a diagnosis, you don't know what to do with it. So the first thing it is that you go, woe is me.
Absolutely.
So, No, go ahead.
And one of the things I learned, and I can't believe I'm saying this at my age, but it's a couple things I learned from your podcast. To even call what I had chronic illness, I didn't even know that that's what it was.
Yes.
I didn't realize that there were days, I feel fine today, and I could, have a wonderful day today. I'm taking my medicines, doing everything I'm supposed to do. I wake up tomorrow and I'm sick and I can't even explain why.
Yep.
And I didn't have the language for it. I didn't have, I guess, the aha moment go off until I started listening to your podcast and started connecting some of the dots.
Oh.
So,
but think about it, and you don't look sick.
Thank God for that.
You don't look like you're hurting. You don't look like you have any problems, right? Because you're just walking and going through life like everybody else. When there is this war going on inside of you.
Oh my goodness.
You're exhausted.
Yeah.
And then you got a smile on your face and people are looking at you like, okay, why are you here? Like, I'm here because I have to work, but I feel like crap.
Or in 100% transparency, what you said is true. I try to push through every day in my line of work. I have to be a resource for so many people, for so many different issues that they're dealing with.
Yes.
And so people don't even realize, as I'm helping you navigate your problems, I'm sitting there and my blood pressure is over 200. And I am just, just doing everything I can, pushing myself to get up, because one of the things that serve as a huge hindrance for me is working in an environment that I'm literally glued to my desk all day. And it's very hard to kind of pull back from it. So I've not eating. I eat very clean, but I've gained a lot of weight because I'm not moving. I'm just sitting at a desk all day and just packing on the pounds. And what?
And then when you come home, but when you get home, you're tired.
Too tired. You can't do anything. You want to get on the treadmill or walk around the complex.
Walk around the block, right?
Yeah, but I'm back to this point now. It's probably been like this for the last 30 days where when I get home, it takes me about 20, 30 minutes to even get out of the car. Because I've got to decompress and just kind of build myself up and just, because it's just, we carry a lot every day. Plus this illness.
That's what music does for me, because when I listen to something and I'm trying to sing just to get my mind off some type of pain, because I walk around at a pain level probably around a 3 or 4. I mean, that's normal. Okay. So when it's raining or something like that, it may go up to maybe a 7 or an 8.
Oh, wow. So how have you been doing since, we've had all of this inclement weather here in Texas? How has that affected you?
I have been in the bed when I come home, because at work I don't move, and I'll tell them like I can't right now. And then I go and I come home and I lay down, I rest, and I've been resting a lot. And I've been telling people it's going to storm, like it's not done. It's like even now I've been having a bunch of pain, and I'm like, it's coming. It's
coming, yeah. I've heard people say that, and I didn't know that was a real thing, but I mean, our bodies is energy, so I guess I could see how that would make sense. But that's one of the things you talked about, again, in the vein of full transparency. As even with my family and my family per se, they probably register me sleeping so much is registering as depression. But it's literally me just trying to, if you look at it, we work Monday through Friday. We only have Saturday and Sunday off. And really, you may not have 2 days off on a weekend, depending on if you have kids or you're involved in the community or things to do. So you really only have maybe a day or half a day. And
one day.
Yeah, usually prepping for the week. So
yes,
you've given all you've got Monday through Friday. And then you finally get home. So the weekend, I look forward to it because that's the only period I can kind of chill a little bit, and kind of regain my strength. And so I think that's another reason why I probably have not invited, so many people in, because I know that it can be very judgmental or feel like judgment, especially more particularly when someone is healthier than you are and they don't understand what your world and your day-to-day looks like, because I'm living it and they're not, so I'm really thankful too, because I do have now better community, a stronger community that I've been able to let in, and they understand it a little bit more. But I also push myself, depending on how many weekends there are some weekends I have to schedule rest. It's crazy, but I have to schedule it. And then on, the off weekends, I force myself to get up and get moving. So that I'm not, become this new term that I hear people say, you're not bed rotting.
What advice would you give somebody brand new, just being diagnosed? What advice would you give them that now that you have a chronic illness, that they just found out that they had a chronic illness?
I think that I would say, seek medical professional help. And I think even through the process, ask a lot of questions. If it's something you don't understand, a lot of doctors are only, setting aside 20 to 25 minutes if you per appointment. But, write your questions down. If there's anything different, if you feel different from your medications, or if something is different from one day to the next and you think that that's something you need to bring up, talk about all of it. And if you're not getting the answers that you feel you need, or you're being rushed by your primary care physician, you need to advocate for yourself. Now, that is one of the things I would probably say is the biggest, because not all health providers are equal opportunity, physicians. They are not. And being someone of color, sometimes I feel that you have to fight a little bit harder, because I think that in their mind that, persons of color, we have a large threshold or a greater threshold for pain. And so when we tell them that we're in pain or something is wrong or off, they don't always want to investigate that. And one of the things that I've even learned up until this point is a lot of physicians train to, by textbook. And I'm not looking to be on medicines for the rest of my life. I've known that I've reversed most of what I've had. with the exception of the high blood pressure. That's been a hard one, but I have transparent conversations with my physicians, and if they're not talking and making sense, I will find someone else until I find the right person who's willing to listen. And
absolutely,
that's the advice that I would give, and take it serious, because it is serious.
Yeah, your healthcare. I mean, your health is the biggest thing. You just got you. That's it.
That's it.
This body, you got to take care of it. Hook or crook, do what you need to do.
That's right.
And if a doctor is telling you something, then you're like, okay, can you explain that? Can you tell me what's the benefits? Like, I ask all kind of questions.
Oh, yeah.
What are the side effects? How long do I have to deal with them? What are the benefits? Do you know anybody that has taken this medication and it's been successful? Or are you just trying to get me to see it and we throwing something, to see if it sticks? And then they look at me like, you've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. Like, yeah, I need to know what you're trying to do.
Exactly. And another thing, if it's something that my primary, and I often tell my friends, I know that my primary care physician probably cannot stand my guts. But one of the things I did was I wanted to find a doctor of color, preferably a male, someone who was in his mid to late 30s, someone that I can kind of grow with a little bit, build morale with. But yeah, when he is not answering my questions and he's giving me vague, responses, I don't accept him. And if it's something that he demands, I'm not that patient where I'm going to be difficult, but I also know my body, and I request things that maybe he doesn't want to do, full panel blood work, as often as I can get them, because you need to know, because I'm not just wanting you to put me on medicines, like you say, to see if it sticks, because you give me a medicine for the high blood pressure, but you got to give me a pill for my heart. Then the pill, then my heart pill, you got to give me something for my liver. And it just starts turning into all these medicines that really over time do damage.
Yeah, I just recently talked to someone that I met online. Her name is Brittany. Okay. And she said that she was on 26 medications. That's 26.
Could you imagine?
At one time. Yeah, 26. And I'm like, wow. And she said, you have one for every single thing. That was me. I don't know if it was 26 medication, but every symptom that I had a pill for it.
I'm sure you did.
And then it jacked liver up.
My point is, but no one tells you that. Some of these medicines, deteriorate your teeth, and just cause all kinds of issues. And I think that, with big, and I'm not even going to get into that, but with big pharma and, all of that whole thing, I'm not looking to be a poster child for anybody, because if you're not talking about healing me from these ailments I have, then you're not the physician for me. I just had a new doctor. I just started about 30 days ago. And my first time seeing her, that was one of the very first things I said to her. If you're going to keep pushing medicines down my throat and you're not talking to me about how I can heal myself from this, then I can tell you now, this will probably be my first and my last time here. Because those are the types of and health care, health plans I want. And I'm not accepting anything else because I got a lot of life to live. No.
I agree. You have to go in and you have to let them know that you are the biggest advocates, for yourself.
That's right.
And then once they know that, then we can work together. But you're not just going to dictate, here, take this pill and send me on my merry way.
That's right.
That's not happening.
Nope.
Do you contact anybody online? Because there's all these online communities and all these chats, right? All these forums. Do you talk to anybody?
Gwendor, didn't you just hear me say I just told my friends of almost 20-something years?
Yeah, but these are strangers.
So no.
These are strangers.
No, ma'am. I got to work my way up. I just got up on one hurdle, and you asked me about a support group, ma'am. No, ma'am. And I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't gotten that far because I think a part of my healing, is letting those that care about me the most, that are closest to me, letting them in on that part of my life. So, who knows what will happen between now and the end of the year? Anything's possible, but for right now, no, I don't.
Well, they have been a big help for me. When I was diagnosed, that's the place that I went. I tried to find somebody who had it because I didn't have a clue. I didn't know anything about it. Even though my sister had it, but to me, it didn't register that we had the same thing, right? Hers was drug induced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
Right.
So I'm trying to find out what it is, why it's there, and once I found my community, it was like the best thing. It was the best thing because I didn't feel so isolated. All of my friends that I had, they didn't know what it was, so they didn't want to be around. If I found somebody that had what I had, it's like, okay, now you know.
Gotta hold on to them, yeah, because you understand me. I get that. I don't know. I've just not done it. It's not for any particular reason. I just have not done it, and I don't know that I have. I think what I will continue to do is, as the conversation has need for it, in the spaces that I am in, by being, rejoining with my local fraternity. It's been a few years since I've been associated with my graduate chapter, found a chapter here. So as I begin to build community, and people need to know these things as we travel together and, each other, then I will bring people in because, just need to know. So I think that's how I will find the support. But believe it or not, TikTok has been a game changer for me. Now I do vet the information that is out there, obviously, but in terms of a lot of holistic or natural herbs or things of that nature that you can take to, essentially heal yourself, it's been a game changer. And I don't know if you involved in TikTok in any way, but if not,
I've learned so much from TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like funny videos. Those are cool, but I'm talking about.
No, I do. I learned things from them, and I go to. There's some lupus chats on Facebook, and I go to them. And there's a lady that she says her diet, like she's not on any medication because she changed her diet. I've been trying to get her to come on. She said she would, but we just keep missing each other. You know how that is, right? Right.
Don't.
I'm just.
Let's move on. But let me ask you this with her. So has she talked to you and told you like what she's doing in the change?
That's just it. I'm trying to. She said she had to change it, and I'm trying to see, did she eat more vegetables? Did she eat more grains? Like, what was it? Like, what did the diet entail? And we haven't connected, but I'm still going after her.
I'd be interested in knowing. Yeah, so when you, and I don't mean to ask this question, and I'm definitely not trying to be offensive.
Come on.
With this lupus,
I told you, this is therapeutic for me.
Yeah, no.
So if you're asking me questions, it's like, okay, go away. If I hadn't thought about it or spoke up on it yet,
then that's another thing. Well, I don't.
Right.
I think this would be easy to answer. So, are you finding more community with people of color, women of color that have dealt with lupus, or has the spectrum, as it relates to race, been pretty open for you?
It's actually been open.
Okay.
Because I find it's almost equal.
Okay, that's good.
To me, race with lupus when it hits you, it doesn't see any of that. So far, we all been in the same boat.
And it's funny you talk about some of the therapeutic things you do to kind of stabilize yourself. I'm assuming dealing with some level of depression. But for me, what I've done is I've literally changed up my entire day-to-day life. I don't ride to work. I don't accept any phone calls on my way to work. Going into a stressful environment, it's important for me to use that time during my commute to meditate. Most of the time I ride in silence, talking to God or just being present in the moment. Or, indefinitely leaving home in the afternoon is another thing. I don't really like being on the phone. I need to decompress. I need to take that time to, listen to music. And I'm a music head. I absolutely love music. But what I'm finding is that I'm listening to a lot of instrumental jazz with no words and not a whole lot of people talking all the time, and just be present, just be present, and that helps a lot. So I'm happy to hear you say that you do that.
And each segment that I do, I try to close it out with what I call healing heartbeats.
Yes.
And the thing is that a heartbeat is something that you can just meditate on, right? You can feel it even if it's your own heartbeat, but it just gives you a chance to feel your depression.
Right.
Give yourself 3 minutes, right? You can either you laugh about it, cry, scream, cuss, or just sit in silence like you just said. And so whenever I'm talking about it, depression sneaks up on you and it will stay if you don't handle it.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And so I try to tell people, go ahead and give it some time. But I said 3 minutes. And when I say that, that's the time you can do whatever you need to do to feel it. Because, you're going to be down and you want to wallow in sorrow. Do it. Just feel it, live it, smell it, whatever you need to do. But once you get it, then you have to get away from it. Compartmentalize it. And, go back to living. Because if it stays, it's going to stay. And it's going to be hard for you to get rid of. So it's kind of like a rinse and repeat thing to do. So, and when you said that, you just sit in silence, because I do that. Some days I don't want to talk. I don't want the TV on.
Nothing.
I just want to just be in quietness.
Yeah. And what I've noticed is even in those quiet moments, it really puts things in proper perspective. And I've missed everything that I'm dealing with. And I know that my body, like I said, just seeing how stress manifests in your body and how it, if not dug out, how it can do some serious damage. It just really even teaches you in those silent moments, just to be grateful for the smallest things. And so as I'm driving to work or, walking around the building doing, a midday break or whatever, I try to see the beauty in everything, and talking to God and spending that intimate time with Him really just kind of recalibrates me and refuels me, so that whatever I go into, and then your overall attitude, and there's so much you've said through this podcast. It's absolutely the truth. And I'm happy you're doing it, because I wish more people would listen, because you be dropping gems sometimes, but it helps. All of it helps. But
and see, that's one of the reasons that I started it. I sit back and, like I said, I've been sick for a long time, and I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. But during this entire time, my life has been wonderful, right? I tell you and everybody else, I don't want for anything.
That's right.
Not that I'm rich and I got all these things, but in my mind, I am. I got everything that I need. Anytime I need something or want something, I got it. I feel blessed beyond belief. I don't worry about a lot of stuff. When people come around, I want, that's not me. I'm content with what I have. So when I hear it, that people are going through all these things, life is so short, right? And I've been saying lately, they got a day you were born and then the day you pass away. And in the middle of it is a dash. It's not a long line, it's a dash. And that dash is your life.
That's right.
So, and it's short. So don't focus on all the bad stuff and all the pain. Like I said, I stay in pain every day. But you would notice, you did notice. Nobody noticed. Unless that's the day, my knee decided to go out.
Well, not that knee. Like Martin Lawrence said, to the knees. Pump it.
Right.
Ain't gonna be none of that.
And then you go, oh, she's hurting.
Right.
But for the most part, I just keep going. and keep moving. And I just have to keep doing it.
You got a lot to be thankful for. You have knocked on death's door so many times. And laugh at it now, but to even hear that you had dealt with most of that, I'm thinking, how could you not be grateful? How could you not? When the good Lord keeps waking you up, giving you another day to get it right, but one thing I've learned is it's a choice. Gratefulness is a choice.
Yes.
And I just choose to be grateful. Even on days that are not so good, there's still good days because I'm still alive. I get up and I thank God for the smallest things. People probably think that they're so small. Why waste time, thanking God for that? But even just being able to get up and get yourself dressed and take care of yourself. You can hear, you can see, you're driving yourself to and from, you don't need assistance, So that's a lot to be grateful for.
And people really don't understand. When you're really sick, and I mean really sick, you can't even get up to go take a bath.
Listen.
Right? You can't even go in there. You can barely make it in there to use the bathroom.
That's right.
And then all you want to do is just come back and lay back down because the world is spinning. You got this nasty headache, you're dizzy, you're nauseated. I mean, you got all this stuff going on. And I sit there and say, well, I got up and used the bathroom today, so that's a win.
That's a win.
Yep.
A win. And I think that it goes back to something you asked me earlier. When I said that my life has purpose, I think through my professional connections and my professional assignments, me being someone who deals with chronic illnesses, it allows me to extend grace to the people that I manage that have illnesses, and I don't expect them to tell me what it is. I don't require that. How can I help you? What is it that I can do as a leader to step in? And if that means, hey, maybe maybe I manage, let's just say sales account manager, I don't know. And there's something that they are struggling with, and I know that it may be linked to that illness. I don't mind stepping in and helping, because I understand from a different perspective of how days are up and down, depending on these illnesses. So it just, I think God has positioned me. He certainly positioned you in the line of work that you do to be in these seats of influence so that we can be an extension for somebody else who may have chronic illnesses,
Yep. And you're right. And I'm glad where I am, because when someone mentions that at work, I know how to handle it.
That's right.
They don't have to worry about feeling, am I going to lose my job? I'm like, no.
That's right.
I'm glad that you let me know so that if anything happens, I know what to do. I know how to handle it.
And things I didn't know everything, but that's one of the things that I've learned, and I'll just say through my professional connections. I'll just say it like that. Yeah. Some things that I've learned, throughout, the course of working with some folks that I've worked with in the past, and just how to be a voice and an advocate for folks, because my job is to stand up for the underdog, especially when it comes to things like that. And, one of my friendly things to say is, HIPAA law protects me. Federal law protects me from having to go too far with so many people. And once I say what it is, that's it. We ain't having no more discussions.
Exactly.
And we're done here. And, I never make the people that I serve have to fight for themselves, especially when it has to do with chronic illnesses or, any level of disadvantage that they're facing, because that's where I come in as an advocate to fight for them. So,
and that's all that I want to do. I want to provide, I guess, some type of hope, or let people know, yes, you're struggling right now, but look down the road. Just keep your eyes down the road. Don't worry about what you're going through right now, because it's going to pass. And that's why the podcast came up. Mm-hmm. And the more that I talk about it, if I help one person, I'm doing great, right?
then it was all
I'm
worth
successful.
it. It was all
Yep.
worth it. Now we
Yep.
gonna run out now. Now you keep it real, keep it honest with me. You don't have to lie to me. Tell me what it is, and we can deal with it. But as long as you're,
Yep.
I understand. So that's why I think it was a question you had asked about, the fight or whatever. What motivates me? Because again, like I said, I know my life has purpose, and I know
Yep.
I am living out my, God's destiny and plan for me. So, yeah.
And I will continue to do this podcast. I try to do my best. I'm trying to get more followers on these social media platforms so that I can promote it more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to continue it because, if I hear one person say, I learned this from the podcast, that's it. Like, check.
Yeah.
Ding, ding. Thank you.
Focus on the one. God will do the rest of the work. I don't mean, to kind of pivot and take it there, but you just focus on the assignment. Everything else, He'll take care of, and He'll make provision for your vision. And so I want to encourage you, and I want to speak life into you from this regard, to just keep moving. Don't focus on who's listening and who's not. Because just like you said, even if there's one or two people that, hear or learn something, then it makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. So, that's how I view it. That is 100%. Because something hits inside of me. Like, I don't just come up with these things. Something will happen and it's like, I should talk about that. I should talk about that. Mm-hmm. So I just get these signs or signals, and then I stay up all night and then I work on it. Even if I don't feel well, because I've been a little bit under the weather lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I still, even last night, I did one last night and trying to talk, and I kept trying to clear my throat, and trying to breathe and trying to put life into my voice. Like, hey.
Oh, I get it. But you know what? God is going to give you the strength to fulfill your purpose through this podcast. And this is not the end of it, because you are creative. I know you all too well in that regard to know that this is just a small extension to a much bigger, project that you probably are working on behind the scenes, knowing you. But God,
you know that, don't you?
I know it. I already know what time it is. He's gonna give you the strength to keep going. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, showing up, doing the best you can, and leave the rest up to Him. That's His responsibility to make up the deficit. So it's gonna happen.
And I really do appreciate you being on here and
for sure
giving me words of encouragement, because it helps a lot. It helps a lot.
And every time you pop out, I'll be like, "Ooh, there go Gwendora. Let me see what she talking. Let me put my headphones in so I can sneak and listen to."
And you see, I try my best to be consistent, no matter what I'm going through. I'm like, I gotta get this out.
That's right.
Get this done. And so, it helps.
Anything I can do to help push you into destiny, please let me know. I'm not just saying that. I'm definitely here. And even in the moments where you don't ask, I'll be praying for this platform, praying for your listeners. And I'm just so excited to see where you're going to go and where this platform is going to go for you. I'm already a fan. I already got you saved in my faves. So, yeah.
I really appreciate it. And I know
don't do like some people do and go take a little hiatus, because I'm going to be calling, ma'am.
No, that's just it. I don't want to take it. I don't want to do that. It's something that I feel like I have to do, that I want to do. It's a burning thing. So every now and then when I'm tired, I'll say, I got to go to work. Like, this is my second thing. Even when I'm sitting at my day job, I'll think about something that I need to put out, or something that I should have said. You go back and say, I should say this, but on the next one, I'll make sure that I bring that up. Yeah, I'm not going to stop.
I'm excited. And again, hopefully, I hope the next conversation that we have, because I'm definitely going to be back on Hello Somebody.
You will, yes.
So I'm hoping that the next time, I'm just believing God that the next time I come on, I'll say, hey, I'm no longer battling this. I've got rid of it. I reversed it. So
exactly.
It's coming. It's definitely coming. You just lay around for it.
And I was thinking maybe I could have, a few people on, and we can all talk about our, not our struggles, but what positive messages that we can give to somebody, because that's what it is. I'm looking for positive energy. What are you doing since you've been sick? What did you learn different? What grew from it? Like for me, I never knew how to do a podcast, and I'm still going at it day to day. I learn something new every time, especially with editing. It's like,
but
I took too much out. I need to go back.
Figuring out new stuff. Like, so I could, if you're struggling on the back end, I couldn't tell. Because what we hear, in terms of what you're outputting sounds absolutely amazing. So yeah, keep doing your thing.
I'm learning a lot. And think about it. If it wasn't for lupus, I wouldn't have a podcast.
Okay. Isn't that funny? You see how that works?
Exactly. So that's what I want. I want to hear people say, yes, I got this, and I got it because I was diagnosed with this. You became this advocate person, and you're advocating for everybody. So you start a business being an advocate, right? Or you start something else. And I was thinking about that, like, I'm sure more people out there not paying any attention because you're so busy focused on your illness. You're not focused on what it has brought you, because there's some positive things that are in your life and it has brought you. So talk about that. And the more you focus on that, you won't focus on the pain as much.
That's right.
That's my dream that I just dropped. Ting, ting.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, you just let me know what I can do again to be the push that you need. And even when you don't reach out or say anything, I'm just know that I'm still pushing and still, praying and hoping and wishing and expecting the best from this, because you got a lot of life to live and you got a lot of projects to get out to.
You know me. Yeah.
So it's going to happen. I think this is just the beginning of something much bigger. And I'm just excited to be along for the ride to see how this goes, because I expect a lot to happen from this.
Well, I appreciate it. And I do thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely.
So,
it's been fun.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and close it out. And this is Empowerment in Illness. And thank you so much, DJ, for coming on and having this good conversation. It was the best. I enjoyed it immensely. So join me next week as we continue to explore ways to empower ourselves and face our chronic illness. Until then, remember you have the strength, support, and the heart to continue your journey. Be safe.